Okay, so the last part was basically that we wanted to open up the floor a bit and get feedback, and also like how we can um, see what's still left to do, and how we can get you guys to contribute and so on. So let me see if I can make that open. Okay, so now there should be a channel. Let me just go to the next slide. Yes. So there should be a channel in the Discord, which is feedback. I hope you all can see it. And each thread in that channel is a question. Some of them have options and some of them are free text. And it would be great if everyone could sort of put in their thoughts on the different questions and options that are available. And of course, let us know if something is not clear in the question. So. Is everyone able to access that yet? Okay, I see some. There's also questions in. Can you go to the next one? So all of these are like open threads that you can just put in your thoughts. We would really appreciate it. Just to also, sorry, to address the question on like, will all models necessarily have confidence scores? It's more like this thread is like future leaderboard possibilities, like what you guys would be interested in. Yeah, exactly. You can treat it as would love to see rather than expect to see. And it probably, especially this one, is not going to happen on this particular instance of the leaderboard, but we see it as a continual improvement.
And while you're filling in our feedback forms, there was one of the questions, one of the polls that we asked you earlier. So just in your own judgment, how would you describe the current state of the art in complex prediction? So despite a couple of suggestive ideas that it is a solved problem or but the current models generalize well, it seems like we are in a more skeptical crowd, and that is looking to kind of like to see how the state of the art as eagerly as us to kind of like to be judged within new leaderboards. So kind of like, but hopefully with the next iterations on the delete split, we can actually figure out this answer better. So we're glad that you feel the same. So there's one question stating that presumably if people can submit multiple times, then the more info you give on stratified splits, the more people might be able to determine which subset of public test set is in the blinded test set.
Yeah, but so this isn't possible because we basically, it's us that triggers the inference runs on your model, and you can't. It's not like on Kaggle or something where you can kind of click a button and then the prediction or the inference on all the test examples will run, and then you get some kind of score. But it will only be triggered by us. So kind of this, say, changing the model parameters until you get a good result. This is not possible.
So that's right. So the test set will be reserved for the assessors, and will be once will be doing the inference that will be coordinated through the assessors suite, and will not be a direct feedback upon your model submission. But that's an excellent question. So we also received one of the comments saying that people might want to build on the Blender loader. So we do invite people to do that, and please feel free to make your own forks, branches. we also welcome community contributions, and if you want to join in with a more substantial contribution or join in on more coordinated effort, then we can also feel free to reach out, and then we can probably connect and discuss how we can see it in the roadmap. There's one question about the leaderboard. I might have missed this, but is there the use of pre-trained embeddings allowed in the models? These are usually built based on all known structures or a snapshot of them.
Yeah, we have a guide on that in the MLSB website. I don't remember exactly, but
If you go to Blender,
yeah, or
yeah, so
actually, sorry, this was a bad idea. It's in if you go to
so
I know where it is here.
So on MLSB challenge website, it's actually explicitly worded about which embeddings are recommended. Simon will be just showing the exact part. We do allow embeddings that are based on just language, so ESM2 or MSA based embeddings are allowed, but those that have used structures and they're not specifically retrained on Blender or Blender data splits are not allowed, because exactly they might already contain the leaked structure information.
So we have like not as many people as before, so feel free to also unmute yourself and ask directly at this stage.
Hi, yeah, maybe I can actually clarify briefly what I was saying around the stratified metrics. I was saying that because you're in the somewhat unique case of already having the possible set of proteins and or systems that you that could enter into the test set, then you could imagine that if you provide too many stratified metrics, then someone could then go through and sort of like game the system to work out which of those systems that are currently present in the or Pinder test set constitute the blinded test set. I mean, I think everyone's pretty reasonable and are not going to do that, but even without that sort of like Kaggle gaming of just like gaming the submission and optimizing the parameters that way, you could imagine that you might actually be able to gain some information of which test set entities are in the blinded test set that way.
Yeah, that's sorry. Yes, sorry. That is true. And the way that we sort of see the test sets is something like the Postbusters test set, that in the end everyone uses it as the test set, but everyone kind of needs to, I guess, get on board with this idea that they shouldn't be leaking information to make their models look better. And this is why we really want to have this as a reproducible benchmark. It is gonna end up happening that once the test sets are out, or even before, as you just said, that people will game the system. But if we are good at stressing the need for this de-leaking for benchmarking in this way, I think it's not easy for models to really get away with this. I mean, AlphaFold 2 was, as we mentioned, like if you don't prove that you're able to do things on difficult systems, you may have like a one-day success, but you're not gonna make a breakthrough.
And if I may add to this, so the motivation of adding the training code and also kind of requiring that it, to some degree, we should be able to kind of see the whole pipeline of how your model is trained. Like both of these things together, I think that will not make go away this concern completely, but at least to some degree that it's not an unnecessary burden that we have to spend so much time in making sure that we're not leaking, but it's kind of a reasonable amount of checking that you can verify that you didn't cheat, basically.
Yeah, thanks. That's probably fair. Like I think I was just thinking how it's slightly interesting scenario for a competition to have a public test set pool, if that makes sense. But yeah, makes sense.
Anyone else? Also, if you have feedback about the training, about some stuff we didn't cover, please go ahead.